like 7 minutes.
Alright. Sqwadcast, episode 35.
Are you positive about that
2.
number?
I was like, it's definitely not 35. And you said part 2, it made sense. Yeah, it made sense
it's,
after.
Two-parter.
Yes. So even though there have been 4 episodes released since the first part of 35, we're like, it's like Christopher Nolan, like non-linear Sqwadcasts. Alright. This is the girls only version of dating. We did the guys version, and in case anybody is curious of why I'm talking as a non-girl, I'm simply here to keep my hosting duties and to moderate the conversation. I'm not going to say any input. I'm not going to start any arguments or anything. I'm
Just
gonna
keep us girls on track because, you know, we tend to, we wander
Yeah.
off on things.
Bring the conversation back if need be. Also keep an eye on the time of the recording. So that's all I'm here for. That's it. We have...
Hostess with the mostest.
We have Jocelyn making
Hi.
her return.
I'm here.
We have Suzie making her return.
Hi.
And then we have 2 newcomers to Sqwad Nation. We have Lindsay and we have Allysa.
What's up?
Hey.
So that is it. We also have Peggy. But she'll be quiet most of the time.
You can help
Oh,
her
that's
out.
funny.
You can voice her opinions.
Yeah.
Peter's girlfriend, Peggy.
Nuzzle to completion. So we're gonna keep this the exact format that we did of the guys episode. We're gonna start with grievances that don't have to do with dating at all. It's anything, and then we're gonna try to follow the same format that we did. We're gonna talk about dating from girls' perspective, and then we're going to answer the same questions we answered in the last episode, or 5 episodes ago. So start with who wants to start with
I can
grievances?
start
Okay.
since I'm a experienced vet, as you say. Alright, well, I guess recently, and this is like very recent, like as in today, I think something that just drives me crazy is people like airing out their grievances on public forums like Instagram and like multiple videos, or like having Twitter beefs and, you know, making everybody else involved. And it's just, I love it, but I hate it all at the same time. And I'm like, I really don't care. Because then other people get wrapped in, and who cares about your opinions and something going on in one person's life, or, you know, between 2 people. So that's where my grievances are at. Like, specifically, I think this whole Kanye West Drake beef, and then now this morning I wake up to a JWoww and Roger beef all over Instagram, and I don't even watch Jersey Shore anymore. But it's all over Instagram, and I want to know about it, but I also don't at all.
It's like a deep dark hole, like once you go down.
Yeah, but then you get stuck watching like 12 videos on someone's Instagram where he's like now crying, and I'm like, oh my god, what happened?
5 hours later.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, why? Just why? I don't know. That's my grievance, I guess. There it is. Yeah.
Beefs.
Okay. I'm done.
You want to own it?
Sure.
Right to the next one.
So, my grievance is about Google Maps. I hate that sometimes it randomly decides to take you, like, the most roundabout way when, like, there's such a more direct way.
Like a clearly straightforward way of getting somewhere.
Yeah, like, when we were coming here, it decided to take us through all these back roads. Like, when we could have literally just gotten right here by taking 83. Like, why did it do that? I don't get it.
It shows up on mine sometimes. It'll be like, on my route, and they'll be like, here's an alternate route that'll take 15 minutes longer. Do you want to take it?
So mine does that, but it's like, I don't know. It didn't even give me an option. It just
Or like
decided to take
there
me
aren't
this way.
things on Google Maps, like
Yes.
places, and you go
Oh,
to look
yeah.
them up, and you're like, well, how am I supposed to find this? I don't know the address. That's why I'm looking it up.
Right. But yeah, when Google Maps decides to take you random ways, I'm convinced it's just trying to kill me. Because I'm like, what's the purpose for this? You just want to get rid of me.
You've got to download Waze.
I have. And I
just don't like
usually
Waze.
No.
Yeah, I never got into it.
I usually
That's
use
great.
Waze now, but sometimes I'm still like, all right, what is Waze doing? Like, it's taking me also some way that's like, maybe it's just me. All the location, GPS apps, whatever.
Waze just has so
wanna
much
kill me.
data attached to it that I had to delete it. It was like
Yeah.
But yeah.
a ton of data, so I was
Yeah.
like, this is not worth it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I didn't have a big enough problem with Google Maps to
Yeah,
replace it with
Download
Waze.
Yeah.
minor frustrations.
Yeah.
Can you imagine when we didn't have this?
Oh
We
gosh.
actually used real
And you had to just be like,
Put up
oh
paper
well,
maps.
right?
Because I'm not leaving the house.
let me
today.
ask someone, I guess.
Yeah,
That's all
crazy.
Last year during Christmas, I was giving my now ex-girlfriend a tour of my hometown, and I got on the wrong street because my town, there's like two different parts of the town, so I was in one part and I didn't really venture into the other part, so I got turned around and then I ended up finding my way. She's like, I'm so surprised you don't know where you're going. It's like, because I never went over this way. Like,
Yeah.
I knew where I was going and those are places I went. Like, I didn't go anywhere else because I didn't know where to go.
right.
The forbidden man's land.
I feel like I technically also have 2 grievances, but I'll let everybody else go first before I decide to say that one.
If you're rolling, I mean, just go ahead.
It's okay. You go. Somebody.
Okay. Let's think. I
So
think
feel
that'd
like
be.
you might say
Yeah, but no. I have another one. That's been annoying me so badly. People who don't communicate well, I guess. So at work we have this, she's not new, but she's been there for like 4 months, and she just doesn't tell us when she needs off. So like 2 days ago she was like, I can't work Saturday. And there was no one else to cover her, so like people were asking around, and then like it just ends up falling on someone else. But she knew that she had to be off Saturday, and it just annoys me so badly.
Like not planning ahead
Yeah.
and like thinking that, you know, other people have lives and stuff
Right.
too.
And like she has a son, and she says like he has these medical issues, which I believe, but I don't think it's to the extent that she's saying. I think she just like wants to take off, and she just doesn't care about anyone else. It's
Yeah.
so annoying.
I think to go into that too, like I know I have like similar grievances with my work because my bosses don't put a schedule out until like the last possible minute. Like it's Saturday right now, I don't have a schedule for Monday on. So
What?
like if
Oh my
people do
gosh.
have to take off, like then how do you have time like to figure out if anybody
That's
else can pick
crazy.
up? Like it's crazy. And then like going to that, like people don't say like, oh, I need off this day, but
Yeah.
then when it comes out, they're like, oh, I couldn't work that day. Like, I need somebody to cover. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
Like, then why didn't you just take off in the first place?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
oh my gosh.
So annoying.
Yeah. I feel that. Work in general is
Mhm.
just a very large grievance.
Yeah.
I think that we should really have to work 4 days a week.
Same.
That'd be great.
I think this should be.
I have
That's
so
a
much
question.
real stuff to do outside of work that, like, it's not enough for 2 days. Like, I don't have enough time.
Well, are we
And
like
then, like-
one of the only countries that does that? I feel
Probably.
Yeah.
out east.
Well, I think
you know?
it's
Yeah.
either Google or PayPal. Well, they like say like you come in as long as you get your 40 hours. Like you can come in and leave whenever you want as long as you get 40 hours within the period. So you're like, hey, if you have a project or a meeting this day, you have to be in. But like you don't have to work 9 to 5. You can come in for a few hours and leave, and then come back for a few hours. And then, so like some companies are implementing that.
That sounds really nice.
Yeah, I think that's ideal. Some people like get work done in like 3 hours, and then you're just like, all right, guess I'm here for another
Right.
5 hours. Like,
Right, exactly. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Sit and twiddle my thumbs.
Yeah.
But that would be nice.
Well, I guess I can jump on the work train. I'm in charge of probably 7 other clinical assistants in my clinic, and these kids, I get it, it's a temporary job, so you don't really enjoy it, but we work with patients who are going through something really rough, and it's you just have to learn how to empathize with them, and I can't teach that. I can't. And they're doing a really good job. It's just managing people is very difficult. And then when the therapists see that they can trust you, they only go to you. And then I have 12 people's work on top of me, and I'm trying to delegate, but I also don't like delegate. I like to delegate, but at the same time I feel bad forcing somebody into something.
Right, and you know you're gonna do like a good job,
Yeah.
and that people like coming to you, so you're like, okay, well, I'll just like try and take care of everything all at once.
But I don't feel like an octopus. Like,
Right.
I can't handle it. But it's great for now. I just gotta look for a new job, that's all. And figure out my life.
Yeah.
No, my last job I had to delegate a lot. And I was just like, but it'd be like, I tell someone to do it, and then they don't give me what I asked for them, like,
Yeah.
on time. I'm like, no, like, this needs to be done by this time. Like,
And at that
And
point,
then-
you're like, I should have just done this
Yeah.
myself. Like, done the job I wanted done.
yeah. Like,
Yeah. And you're like watching them do it, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
You're like
Yeah.
that parent that's like, please don't
Yeah.
mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just,
I know. I don't want to baby them, but like,
but sometimes some people are just like, no, like,
they're just not there.
Yeah.
I'm
like,
guilty
"What?"
of doing that to this one all the time.
Babying him?
No, being
Oh.
like, I want you to do something for me, but like not giving me instructions the way that like to the point of like full explanation of exactly how I want things done. And then I'm like, I'm watching you do this and you're not doing it right. So I'm like, I'm just gonna stop you there and just do it myself.
I wish you all could see Calvin's face right now.
Wait, Calvin's not here. This is all girls.
He wants to be a female today.
Yes.
sips tea.
Wow.
Coffee truck.
I was trying to segue into dating.
She's smooth.
I know how this works.
Speaking of dating, that
Our main topic of the day.
yeah, I guess it's time everybody aired out their grievances. I feel like this time of year there's a lot of grievances too, with the holidays and the
Traffic.
and the dreary weather and the craziness.
Also
So-
traffic.
Traffic
It's
during the
terrible.
holidays is like the epitome of
I
my
wish I could
existence.
fly.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Teleport.
Yeah.
Like the week of like up to Christmas
Yeah.
is the worst because people are like out trying to get last minute gifts and like everyone is out at all times of the day, so it doesn't matter
Yes.
when you're in your car. The
There's
roads are
just
just
always
horrible.
traffic. Yeah, it's terrible.
There's a grievance.
I was talking to Anchovia during yesterday's episode. We could do an entire episode of traffic grievances, like every little thing like, on the road. Like,
Yeah, I almost
So.
brought up rubbernecking, but I was like, I don't want to. This could go down really far.
This could take a while.
Oh, goodness.
yeah, so we'll get into the good stuff, the meaty stuff. It's
The good.
yeah. So we're gonna start with get into dating, and we're gonna start from the girl's perspective of what it's like to be single. We'll touch on being single like now or a few years ago versus like high school / early college years, stuff like that. So what is it like being single as a girl?
I'm not single now, but before
Or
I
what
was, it was horrible.
If you were taking, what was it like being
It
single?
was horrible. I think right now, especially in like the time we live in, being single was freaking horrible.
Yes.
Millennials.
Yeah.
You.
Like, and I'm not pointing any fingers, but males are disgusting and horrible. Like, I mean,
That's
not all of them, but a lot. Like,
Peter is adorable. I
Peter is a penguin, not a male.
male
A
penguin.
male penguin. I'm sorry.
He takes care
No,
of the egg.
but I think like kind of talking about like dating apps and all of that, like I just think it like not even just dating apps, I think apps in general, like even Instagram and stuff, like and sites like Barstool and like Fifth Year and stuff like that just like really push this behavior that guys can just treat girls like shit and girls are just these like naggy horrible people. Like there's videos of girls like yelling at their boyfriends or like guys they're hooking up with and stuff, and guys can just kind of, you know, do whatever they want all the time and, you know, just sleep around, and that's like the culture.
The question for all of you is,
Yeah.
do you think this is they're just cherry picking the dramatic things and then girls think that's all guys are, or do you think some girls have that awareness of this is just for news and clicks?
I don't know. I guess a little bit of both. Like, I think they definitely, take things that are, I mean, I still think they're hysterical, like, some of the things that I see, like, they are, but I think it definitely puts the focus on, like, the fact that guys are kind of more able to just sleep around and do what they want, where girls are seen as this, like, naggy, like, annoying, like, person or group, I guess, is how I'm trying to describe it. Like, I mean, I think people know how things are, and Fifth Year and Barstool and stuff like that, like, kind of just exacerbated a little bit, like, kind of focus on it, but at the same time, I think that's just, culture today is, sleeping around and not really, like, dating people.
It is
Yeah.
hookup culture.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think that's, like, a huge portion of, like, what dating is now. I don't really think it's like
I agree
dating.
with that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not dating. It's
It's seeing each other one time here and there.
Right.
yeah, or like when
Based
you're
on your looks.
lonely or
Mhm.
Yeah.
whatever. Like, you can like contact this person if you feel like it. But if
Yeah.
not, you could go to the bar or go to a party and find somebody else to.
My
you know.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like also being, well, not even being necessarily single, but just being a girl or a woman, you can't go out at all and expect to just like have a normal night out with your friend without some creepy guy coming over
Yeah.
and thinking like
Right.
you need them to like
Especially if you're like
touch you or
downtown
something. Like, don't
or something
fucking
like
touch
that,
me.
or in Towson or whatever.
Yeah.
At local college town.
Local
We'll
university.
edit that one out, but no, but I agree. Yeah, like you can't just go out and have a drink unless you're at like some small like local
Yeah.
place or something like that where you're like watching like a football game or just hanging out, like sitting around with your friends. But if you're like out, then yeah, like you can't stand there without some guy like grabbing your butt
Yeah.
or like
Right.
Literally,
wasping his hand against your backside
terrible.
like as he's walking by.
literally like
Guys do that
last
all the
night.
time.
We were out last night and literally
Wasping.
like just the amount of creepy guys that
Yes.
we weren't even like, we were literally facing each other talking
Yes.
to each other.
Like, and the
Right.
And they'd
fact
like
that-
come in between us like, hey, like, no, we're talking
Right.
to each other.
That's just rude in general.
It is.
And
Two
like
people talking.
this
Remember
guy,
the
are
one
you gonna talk
time-
about the doctor?
No, but
Oh.
there's one guy, he literally pulled my, like,
Oh
belt,
yeah, ew.
like, to try to get him, try to get me
Ew.
closer.
Like pull you close.
Yes.
It's just
And I-
creepy.
It
There was
is.
like this guy in med school and he was like trying to talk to me and I'm like, oh, like I'm not
Interested.
interested. Like I have a boyfriend, like I'm not interested. I'm here like with my
Right.
friend. He's still trying to talk to me and he's like telling me that he's like studying to be a cardiologist, but instead of telling me that, he like touches me and draws a heart on my chest and I'm like, don't fucking touch me. Like, why are you touching me right now?
That's so much.
And he's like-
Thank you.
He's like,
Right.
oh, I'm not like trying to violate your space. I'm just
But
like
you are.
touched
trying
Yeah.
to tell you something. I'm like, but you touched me.
Like,
And
you
you
don't know
didn't,
me.
you don't, yeah, like that is, you're violating my space.
I have
Just
a
don't
bubble.
touch me.
Right.
It was the most irritating thing.
Yeah. And like to kind of go off that too, I think because of like the hookup culture and like I don't even know like what else to describe as the culture right now, but like girls feel like they have to dress certain ways to like get attention or like find a guy. Like there was one night we were out and we were just sitting there like having a couple beers with like some friends and I literally saw this girl walk into a bar in a bra. Like a bra and shorts. And I was like, are you for real right now? Like it was not even like a bra, it was a lacy bra. Like you could see her nipples through her bra and they let her in this place. And then I go back to like me a couple years ago trying to get into the bar wearing Tim's, and a bouncer was like, no, you can't come in.
That's
And I
like
was
when you
like-
wear camo pants.
Yeah, we're
I was like, so you can say that, like, I can't come in because I'm wearing shoes that I'm sure, like, half the guys in here wear, or, like,
Yeah.
they're wearing, like, bean boots or something, and you tell me I can't wear these, but a girl shows up in a bra that, like, you can see
her
through, and
nipple.
she's allowed in. I'm like, are you for
The
real?
more skin, the better.
Right, exactly. I'm like, so this just, like, goes to show that, like, you know.
I think that was one of your grievances, one episode.
I think it was like one of my last ones, because I was like that's so like degrading of like yourself, and like for the like, you know, I think I have this very hard time with the fact that I think women should be able to dress however they want and do whatever they want, like have that freedom. But at the same time, like, do you really need to dress like that to like bring attention to yourself? Like, and that's what I have a hard time with, because I think because of the hookup culture, girls feel like they have to show their bodies off or show themselves off to like find a guy while they're out. And I think it's really hard for, you know, women to, you know, respect themselves while also still finding a decent person to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems just too physical nowadays.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that matters to guys. And we've like built up this theory, this like belief that that's all they want. But
Yeah.
if you know you're better than that, then don't let it happen to you, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alright, so somewhat transition, like say you, I know you guys were talking about, well, girls, we're talking about being out with friends and not looking for someone, but say you're single, say you're ready to like find someone, like what, I know it sounds like I'm like,
You're on the hunt.
yeah, but like sometimes you go out, you're like, no, I'm just here with friends, but other times, I don't
You're
know.
like
Maybe
trying
girls
to-
don't do that, I don't know, I know.
Like
sometimes-
trying to find
I know
somebody.
sometimes guys do that,
Yeah.
we're like, hey, like let's, sorry,
Well,
I
like,
don't want to say my opinion, but like guys go out and we're like, hey, let's just have a few beers and do stuff, and
Right.
then other nights it's like, no, like this guy's single, let's try to.
Let's try and find somebody for him to like meet or whatever. Yeah.
Sometimes there's like a mission, but I found that a lot of times my girlfriend, no, seriously, like they'll be like, I'm hooking up with someone. I'm like, okay.
You do you, girl.
But like sometimes, like I love my girlfriends, but we go out and then they just leave me to find a guy. I'm like, wait, I thought it was a girls'
This is like
night.
a girl's night.
But
Yeah.
they just like are determined, and they don't mean to do it. It's just like when you go out and get a few drinks, you're like kind of interested too. Just how guys are. We're just not as
Right.
aggressive, or don't come off as aggressive.
that's
Some
true.
girls are.
Right.
Some
Yeah.
girls take over the whole dance floor and like twerking their ass in the air. And you're
Right.
like,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that there's
That
times
way.
where you're like,
No, not her.
Oh.
Her friend. Do you remember?
Oh my god, I want to go. That's not my friend, but that one.
Yeah, we are
I
not
don't
friends.
blame her.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's how you
Feel like
really
that's
feel.
Yeah, I feel like there's a
Well,
story.
it's probably for the best that she's not here.
yeah.
Maybe she doesn't hear this.
Yeah, I
Hopefully
mean,
she's not one of
there's
3 podcast listeners.
there's definitely a difference though,
We're
like
getting
trying
there.
to find somebody, like, or just going out to be with friends. And I think it's when you're out with friends, like not looking, that you have a better chance of finding somebody that's like, you know, gonna fit with like your criteria of what you're looking for. 'Cause
Yeah.
when you're going out and like you're like, I'm trying to hook up tonight, or like I'm gonna find somebody to like take home, or I want to find somebody, like that's at a bar. That's not where you find someone.
Yeah.
You know, like you could find somebody for like a temporary like fix or whatever, but that's not like I'm gonna take them home to mom and dad. Like,
Yeah.
Clean them up a little bit.
Yeah, right.
No, but life does happen when you're least expecting it, and I think that's the best part.
Yeah.
Like, I know this is weird, but I'm dating someone who used to be a patient at my work. So, like, it happens in the weirdest ways you just don't even expect
Well,
it.
that's like when I met Kelvin. I went out to dinner with a friend, and I like was not like, I'm gonna leave my number for my waiter today. Like, no, like I never would have expected that. But then I was like, oh, okay, like he's fine. Like I'll leave my number, and then he ended up texting me, and you know we've been talking ever since.
I didn't know that.
You didn't?
No.
I thought I
Was
told
it
you
at
that.
Glority's?
No, when he was at Bar Louie, it was
Oh.
like not this past, but the year before in
Got a lot of
July.
editing to do.
in July, but yeah.
Just editing out the names of like.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I should have went over this.
Undisclosed location.
I forget these things.
No, it's fine. I have a peep I can put over.
Calvin's current place of employment.
Don't talking, please.
Place of employment, current place of employment.
Yes. Okay.
Former editor.
Things happen when you're not expecting it.
Yeah, don't force anything.
Yeah, I think when you force it, that's when you find people who are like gonna use you and walk all over you and treat you like a bag of crap. For, just toss you out the window.
For me, I feel like when I was single and I would go out, I don't really feel like there was ever a time that I did go out like, oh, I'm gonna go look for someone. Because that was just not... Because, like, to me, I know that the guys out are just trying to hook up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not really into that whole culture. Like, it's not really my thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, if you come up to me and talk to me, okay, like, I'll talk to you. Because, I mean, there's no reason for me not to, like, if I was single. But, like, I'm not going out, like, with the intention of that.
Right.
If that makes sense. Just because, like,
Yeah.
it's not my interest.
Yeah, and I think for me, like, even if I went out and I was like, I want to, like, meet someone tonight or, like, find somebody, like, hopefully I'll be a nice person or whatever, which obviously I'm clearly, like, saying that was very wrong, but, like, I wouldn't force it either. Like, I would be like, that'd be nice to, like, meet somebody. Like, I want to go out and have fun. Like, I don't care if I, like, dance with people, but, like, it'd be nice to meet somebody, but, like, also I'm not going to be like, let me find somebody in this, like, mess of people.
Yeah,
like, let me find a nice guy.
And at, like, 1:45, like,
Exactly.
I need to find
Yeah. And, like, the thing is for me, when I go out, I just like to dance anyways. So, like, it's not, like, I feel like my behavior when I'm single or not single doesn't change.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just, nothing changes. I go out, I drink, I dance.
Yeah.
Or I go out and don't drink and dance. Like, it's not, I don't, like, go out and approach guys like, hey, let's go home. Like,
I do get excited, though, when you're out and, like, a guy's dancing, too, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
I know he's a keeper.
Yeah. That's the best.
You're like, what?
No, it was... We mentioned it in an older episode, but there's a guy at college.
Undisclosed.
College.
And he wouldn't dance. He'd literally be on the outside of the dance floor and, like, look in and then, like, get denied by a girl and then come back to the outside.
To the wall.
It was so weird and creepy. And but that was in an older... I won't get into it. Listen to our older episodes to find out.
I've always wondered, like... So we have so much freedom to dance and be goofy whenever, and we don't care. I mean, some girls are still a little, like, self-conscious. But guys, like, I always wonder if when they want to dance, like, do they actually do it, Like, I wonder if they have this urge deep down, and they're just like, I'm going to look dumb, like... But some people do let loose, and they just don't care what other people think.
Right.
I'm just wondering what it's like. I can't ask you guys, obviously. I'm, like, curious what it's like to be single as a guy, too.
Well, listen to our other episodes.
You talk about dancing.
Yeah, you didn't. I listened to it yesterday, and you don't talk about
I don't think we
dancing.
touched on dancing.
So...
Question for next episode with the boys.
Next episode, part 3. Guys and girls in the same arena.
Let's debate about dating.
8-person episode. Just mass chaos.
That would be insane.
It'd be really intense.
Can only
So many
imagine
laughs.
HOV
It would just be like...
You're like, who is talking?
That's funny.
So unless anybody has anything else to say about single life.
Being single sucks.
Okay. So
It has its
Depends.
ups and downs.
Yeah. I like the freedom of, like, not having to report to anyone.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
saying I have to
No.
now, but it's just like I put my phone.
You
away
don't have to,
sometimes,
like,
and
consider
it's-
anyone else.
I think
Like,
being
you
single
just
is
do
good
it.
when you're, like, trying to figure out what it is that you want, but it can also be really frustrating when you're like, I know what I want and I just can't find anyone that fits this.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm
That's
gonna be
true.
single forever.
Yeah.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, transitioning from single to whether it's current or in the past, the beginning stages of a relationship. What's that like? What, like, when do you transition
boy.
from talking to dating to exclusive to boyfriend girlfriend, like how.
I think that also is pretty rough, like with the culture that we're in now, like kind of building off that. Like I think depending upon the person that you're talking to or dating, I think it all really depends, because I know a lot of people that get stuck in this like limbo of like, what are we? Like, we're hooking up, like I'm hanging out with you and your friends, and like you don't call me your girlfriend, but then like I'm the one you're with all the time. Like, so what is, like, it gets stuck in that point, because I feel like where we're at too, people don't really ask people to be their girlfriends.
You just assumed
Uh-huh.
one day.
He was like,
Oh
"Oh
my
my
God.
God, we were dating." I was like, "Yeah, but you didn't ask me to be your
I
girlfriend."
could pick up and leave whenever I want.
Right? No, I like really forced that to happen. I was like, so, like, you have my Netflix password now. That makes this pretty official. And he was like, wow, like, that was subtle.
I like that. I like that that's official now instead of Facebook.
Yeah, it's like, are we
Yeah.
Netflix official?
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Like, I was like, you're taking a year to make this happen. And he was like, yeah, tisk tisk. But yeah, so I think a lot of people like get stuck in this like stage of like you don't know where things are going or if like they really want to, because I was in like not like relationships but like talking to people where we would talk all the time or like go out and like they wanted me to meet their friends and stuff like that, but then they'd be like, oh, but like I don't want to date you, like this isn't what this is. And I'm like, okay, well then what is it? Because you need to be clear. Like, and I think that's a big thing. People need to be clear about what it is that they want, because it can get a little misconstrued. But when you are talking to somebody where it's dating, I think it's a lot of like trying to like impress that person. So it's not like, let's wear sweats and watch Netflix. It's like, let's meet up for a drink, or like, I need to wear jeans all the time. I can't look comfortable. But yeah, that's where I'm at on that. So, but yeah.
I think like lately, at least the past 2 relationships I've been in, like I got comfortable real quick, and not like clingy comfortable, but like just the guys I've been with, like I trusted. And so like so my current boyfriend, we had been going on dates since April, and he didn't ask till July, and like I was totally okay with it. I just like knew we were exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, April 22nd. But then he asked me like, yeah, that's awesome that you know that. I love Thursday. But he asked on Friday the 13th, which was pretty cool, and we were camping, so I was like, oh, this is sick. But anyway, like I don't know, I guess I was just very relaxed about it. It depends on like the other person too, but we like laid it out from the beginning, and like we already kind of like treated each other like we were dating. So as long as you trust them, like I feel like don't force it. But I don't know, the first stages are really fun. We called it the honeymoon stages, and we're kind of still in it, but like I don't know, we feel like an old couple too at the same time. Yeah. It's really weird.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like, so my current boyfriend, we kind of like knew each other from high school, but we weren't really like friends. But he was good friends with my like childhood best friend. So we like ran into each other, and we just were hanging out as friends for like a month or two. And then just like, to me, I was like, oh, we're just like hanging out, we're friends. Like,
right.
He just like comes out with us and like drinks, like it's not, you know. And then one day he was like, oh, I like you, will you like be my girlfriend? And I'm like, wait, what? We haven't even dated. Like, I didn't even know you liked me. Like, can we back up?
Like a date or anything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was like, I was like, can I think about this for a little while? So like, I thought about it for like,
I didn't know he asked you.
yeah.
That's so funny.
But he said like, my girl. And I was like,
Oh,
I
my
don't know what
girl.
that means.
Do you want to be my girl?
Yeah. And I was like, I literally don't know what that means. And then, like, a week later, I was like, I mean, I guess, but I'm not really clear on what that means. And then he was like, he said, like, you know, my girlfriend or whatever. But, yeah, we didn't actually, like, go on a date before that, so it was just a very weird situation to me. But,
not what you were expecting.
yeah, and, like, not what I was expecting. It was just like, out of nowhere. For me, he's like, really thought it was out of nowhere? Because I thought we were like on the same page.
How long did it take for you to like accept it?
Just like 5 days.
Oh.
I like thought about it for the week, and then I was like, next time I saw him, I was like, I mean, sure.
Oh, no,
And how long have you been together?
4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're in the honeymoon stages then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys probably joke about that all the time.
We do, yeah. It's pretty hilarious because he's like, it's like I was still like using Bumble and stuff, so like I had like Bumble dates for that week, and I was like, so does this? I was like, right? No, really. I was like, so does this mean I need to cancel my Bumble dates? And he's like, I mean, I would like you to. I was like, oh, all right.
Like, hey, I'm gonna show up to this date, but like I have a boyfriend now.
But like it was before I like knew
Right.
if I was even
Right.
interested or like what was going on. And so he said like he told his friends like, yeah, I don't know if we're together or not because she told me she still has Bumble dates. So he said his friends were like, so you have a girlfriend that's still like using Bumble? This makes no sense. It was hilarious.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah.
One of my comedian friends is a girl, and it was similar. She met her boyfriend through like one of the apps you have to pay for, where she paid for like extra features or something.
Wow.
Yeah, so they met and they've been together for a little while, but she makes the joke that it was like she paid for a month and they met in the beginning of the month, and she's like, but I paid for the month.
Oh my
Like, can I still use it? Like, I'm losing money if I don't
Oh my
It's
god.
hilarious. Like, can I get a refund?
Yeah.
Or like share it to a friend. Share the link.
We'd be like, so we're together now. I think you need to reimburse me for the rest of the month.
You owe me 2.5 years.
Right.
Some relationships really do form off of those though. Like
Yeah.
one of my best friends, they're getting married in June, and their last name's gonna be Triunfo, so their hashtag is Tinder2Triunfo, because that's how they met, Liz and Vince.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and I was like,
That's
Oh,
cute.
yeah.
I was like, really? That's actually pretty creative. But you never know. I mean,
Yeah, you don't.
there's a whole variety of people on there.
That's true.
A whole variety, definitely.
Yeah.
No, it should be released when this episode is released, but as of recording, it's not. Me and Anchovy did a whole grievance about Bumble, so.
We should have a whole episode about dating apps in general
Yeah.
because
So we could
they're
probably do an
crazy.
entire
Like
episode on that.
best and worst pickup lines.
Oh my gosh.
There's an
Yes.
entire subreddit called it's r/Tinder, but it's Tinder, Bumble, and all the apps.
Right.
And so there's so many name puns. Like there's that, and some of the pickup lines are just like, you're not even in it to be serious. You're in it to get karma on Reddit. Like you can just get all the upvotes. Like,
That's funny.
but some of them are really funny.
I've actually never seen them. Like I've never been on one, so I don't know what it's all about. I feel like
Really?
on a dating
You've never
app?
been on a dating app?
No.
Oh my god!
So like I mean,
I feel
I've seen it
like-
with my friends, but like I've never actually done it myself. So
Oh,
like,
wow.
I feel like,
like
one day we should just
It's-
pull it up.
It's
and then
weird.
I'm about to download it just to show it to you.
I'll show you.
my
I'll show you my old profiles. Kelvin never used dating apps.
Except MySpace. So you're just kidding.
At one
Yeah.
point, I'm pretty sure, like, I downloaded all of them just to see how they were different, like, out of curiosity. Well, not all of them, because there's, like, a million. But, like, I downloaded, like, 5 or 6 to see how they were different
Yeah.
and decided that I only really liked Bumble.
Yeah. There's some real
Good research.
scum of the earth on Tinder.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
are.
I just don't like that on all the other dating apps the guys can message you.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I like Bumble, because, like, you could match with the guy and then you could change your mind and be like, never mind, I don't actually want to talk to this person, and then you don't have to. But on the other ones, it's like, it's too late. Now they can message you whenever they want, unless if you, like,
Right.
go through and unmatch everybody. That's a lot of work. Yeah.
I did though. I was helping a patient at the clinic, like putting on a game ready, like an ice pack over his shoulder, and I was wrapping it. And I don't mean to, but his phone's bright as shit, and it's like right here. And so I decided to look at it. And I'm wrapping it with ice, and he's just swiping
What? Oh
like
my
hard as shit.
God.
And I'm like, I don't know if he saw this because when I like turned away and came back, it was gone. He was acting like he was sexing someone. It's like, are you embarrassed?
That's
right
funny.
now? Like, I guess you can do it any time of the day. Like,
Yeah.
Do you think there's a taboo about online dating apps, or is it like?
I don't know.
Because I feel like in the beginning it was like, oh, this is how we met, but
I don't
again,
know.
this
Like
is the
kind
girls'
of, but
podcast.
not
I
really.
don't think it's as much.
Nowadays
no.
it's pretty prominent.
Well, like
Yeah.
I know, like people who are in like the gay community. That's how a lot of them meet people that they end up.
Yeah.
Like my cousin, he's married now to a guy he met on like a dating app, and like he is like the best possible fit for him that I could have ever imagined. And he was like, I mean, I don't know how else we would have met. Like he lived all the way in the southern part of this state. And he wouldn't have met him any other way. So I'm like, I think like in those instances, yeah, like I know, like you said, you have friends who are getting married that met on Tinder. Like I think there's like a lot less of a taboo about it nowadays because it's just hard to meet people in bars and stuff that are, you know, decent.
Or even at
Yeah.
work, like
Right.
that's the only other place at our age that we would meet somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm a preschool teacher. I'm not gonna meet anybody at work.
Right.
Like
Right.
a single dad.
Yeah.
Single dad.
Do you remember that?
How could I forget? Yeah.
I matched on Bumble with one of the single dads.
Oh.
And then I didn't message him because I was like, wow, this is actually really weird. Never mind.
Yeah.
did they see that you matched though?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we actually met at a bar, coincidentally, and discussed how we met and I never talked to him. And he's like,
Gosh.
yeah, I figured it was because of your
Because
job.
on Bumble, the way it works is you match with somebody, and then the girl has to message the guy first, but you have to do it within 24 hours.
Or it disappeared.
Or it disappears. So, like, if you don't message somebody, like, you're not matched with them anymore.
You have to do it right away.
Yeah.
You really have to be on those things, like
Yeah.
nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a little bit
You
much.
take over your world a little bit.
Yeah.
So like I feel like like work would be the only other place, and depending on what your job is, it's like
Right.
that's not gonna happen. So I
Yeah.
feel like
Hard.
Working
that's
in-
a lot of reason
From
why.
the guy's point of view, working in an elementary school, it's like I'm
It's
one of
so
two
hard,
guys, and from the girl's point of view, there's 30 other female teachers. Like
There's literally no
Like-
no guys that work.
yeah,
I mean, it's a preschool.
There
No
are-
guy is gonna be like, let me subject myself to 20 toddlers. Like no.
like there are some professions that are
It's just like
dominant from gender. You know,
Yeah,
that's just how
basically
someone wanted
impossible.
one of those jobs.
so. That's why I feel like dating apps are not. There's not as much of a
Yeah.
taboo or stigma. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
like my boyfriend, he's a fitness director at a gym, and like he loves his job. But he's like, in this position, it's hard to go to the classes and trainings and stuff and watch women perform or do the exercise movements because he's like, I feel like I'm being judged for looking at them, but this is my job. Like I'm supposed to watch.
Make sure they're doing
Yeah,
it.
and he's like, you know, being in the school system and everything, they're very sensitive. He says, like with race and religion and everything, he's very touchy. So he's like, I love it, but it's like weird. Like,
Yeah.
so I try not to make relationships with my employees because like, I don't want to cross a line or look like I could cross a line.
Right.
And I was like, man, that sucks. But he loves his job, so it makes it work.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to think if you guys want to touch on
What was that?
we're at the 45-minute mark, so I'll delegate. Leave it up to you if you want to touch on being in a relationship, like a steady relationship, or if you just want to jump to the questions.
I think it'd be fun if we spoke about like commitment and like stages. So like
Okay.
I'm not a very committed person, I'll be completely honest with you, and I told him from the start. And he started talking about, he gave me a key like 2 months in, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take this. So I was like, I hope this doesn't cross the line. And then he said, I love you very early too. And I was like, okay, I'm not looking for anything like super, super serious, like down the road maybe, but let's just take it easy. I'm just curious like how you guys go into things. Does it depend on the person, or is it like, yeah?
I think it
For
depends.
me, yeah, it depends on the person.
Yeah. I like try not to overwhelm people, like guys that I'm talking to or dating, I've like always been that person. Like I don't want to overwhelm them and seem like I'm trying to force something, especially if it's like not there. But like if there is something there, then like obviously, and they feel the same way, like I want to pursue it and try and like get to know this person like pretty well, so that we can like build a relationship. But I think, you know, you don't want to come off as like trying to like push things or be clingy. Be like, well, I want to like get to know you, I want to meet your parents or whatever. Like you don't want to do stuff like that if they don't feel the same way. So I think it all depends on like who it is that you're talking to and like where you guys are at like in communication.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
I feel like communication is a big part of those kinds of situations. Like if you're not able to talk about where you guys are on things like that, like meeting your families or like whatever, like giving each other keys or stuff like that, then it's like I feel like more of a
like I think like my first date with Kelvin, we like really just hit things off like so well. Like we were texting prior to like our first date and like we just like got along really well. So then like on our first date we sat and like talked there for like I don't know, like an hour or an hour and a half. And then he was like, well, what are you like doing later? And I was dog sitting and I was like, you can like come back and hang out. And we like sat and talked for like another hour or two. And we just like really hit things off. And like he ended up staying so long that he ended up meeting my sister because we were going to a concert and she was meeting me there. And he was like, well, like, do you want me to stay and meet her? Like, should I go? And I was like, this is like really soon, but like I don't know, it's up to you. If you want, you can like leave now. And he's like, no, it's all good, like I'll stay. And I was like, okay, like I really like that. Like, you know, he could choose to be like, this is weird and like you're making me like meet a family member already. And I was like, I really didn't mean for this to happen. We just like got talking. But like I feel like at that point we like knew we had like similar values and we're like looking for the same thing. And you know, that was like really important to me. And you know, that's kind of where we were like, okay, like, you know, we could really like see ourselves together. And then actually on our second date we went back to his house and we're hanging out in the basement and I met his parents. And I was in sweatpants and a sweatshirt because I was sick, I'm pretty sure. Like, had come from work. And I was wearing, like, these clunky rain boots. And I just looked horrible. And I was like, oh, my God. But, like, I don't know. I guess we were just kind of on the same page with everything. And then we were like, okay, well, now time to meet friends. And that's when I met Tim.
And then a year later, he finally kind of asked.
I was joking when I said a year. Like, it was like, what? July, August, like 2 months. But, like, we were spending, like, every weekend together. Or not every weekend, but because he kept leaving and going off to an adventure and do things. But we were like talking like nonstop and, you know, like had been hanging out a ton and, you know, whatever, and like we met each other's friends and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, like I'm driving all the way to your house all the time. Like, am I your girlfriend or not?
Because if not, I'm gonna stop.
Right? Like, I'm wasting a lot of gas money here.
Back for tolls and gas.
Right?
So for me, I met my current boyfriend's mom really early, unintentionally. We went to pick his friend up from the bus station or whatever, and we went back to his house, and he like dropped off all his friend's luggage because whatever, his friend like just left it in his car. So he put it in his like room, and then we left and we came back and his mom was in his room and she thought I was moving in. I was like, I have literally been with him for a week. I am not moving in anywhere. But like I didn't know that she said that because my boyfriend's not American. So they were speaking in their native language, and then she left. And he's like, yeah, my mom thinks you're living here now. And I'm like, what? I hope you told her I'm not. Oh my gosh. It was the most awkward situation of my life. Well, probably not of my life, but it was awkward.
Does she like you?
We don't talk.
But does he just like he's
He never like formally introduced me. That was like
that's weird.
Yeah.
Does he live with them?
Kind of. He lives like next to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're always in a situation where you're gonna see her.
I mean, I am. That's why I just don't go to his house. He's like, so do you want to come up? No, you can come here. Like the only people you're gonna run into are my roommates. Yeah, so I just don't go there because they have like a different family.
Dynamic.
Yeah. I feel like, but I kind of understand that because my dad's family is Egyptian. So it's just very different. Like, I feel like different cultures, dating is very different.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
It's very, very traditional culture.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Especially like with my dad's family, like if you meet somebody that they're dating, it's like, so when are you getting married? Like,
Right.
we're not getting married. Well, like my ex, when I introduced him to my family, it wasn't like meant to be like a formal introduction. It was just like we were driving him to the airport in New York from here. So like we went and we stayed overnight near my family, and I was like, well, I may as well visit them while I'm here because they found out I was there. And they met, and they're like, so when are you getting married? I'm like, I am not getting married. I don't know why you're asking me this. Yeah, so I just think it's different culture.
kind of funny with my ex, it was, I knew her family for a while.
Oh, okay.
So, like, those of you who know, like,
Yeah.
so, like, they met. And she actually met my parents before we started dating, and then it was like we had a family dinner with their family because they have a really big family. And I was like, I know your parents. Like, why are you so nervous? Because it's like now you're with me meeting my parents, not just hanging out with us meeting my parents. I was like, oh, okay.
Like, you gotta be a gentleman, not just, you know, a best friend.
Yeah. And then her sister was like, so I hear you two are dating, and then she chugs a beer. Like, just,
That's
yep.
funny.
Cheers to that.
So.
I don't know. I kind of got freaked out a little early. Not freaked out, but like we were talking for 2 weeks, and he goes, "Hey, you want to come to a wedding with me in Alabama?" And I was like,
What?
I mean, I love weddings, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll be your date," but like, what does this mean? Like, you know, I guess it like looked into everything in a weird way, but we just felt so comfortable. I was like, "Yeah, I'll be, you know, your friend. I'll be your date. Whatever you want, you know." And then, I don't know, I met the family, and they were pretty great, but his mom passed away, which is really unfortunate, so like it's a very sensitive dynamic right now, but they're like really welcoming. And his family's from Ohio, so they're 5 hours away, so it's definitely a bop, and he goes pretty often, so whenever nobody knows what a bop is.
It's like 3 bops squared.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it, though. It's a good time. You're picking up on it, too, now. It's handy.
Alright, so you wanted to just answer the questions?
Oh, yeah, from earlier.
Yeah. So, first question is best and or worst dates you have been on that you feel comfortable talking about, obviously, like it's been all episode. So, if you just want to say one, like good dates and not touch the bad dates, you can. If there's really bad dates that you want to share,
I have 2 really bad ones.
you can do a little bit of both.
All right. Well then,
It's not like one per
we're
person.
passing the baton
Yeah,
to you to
for
start.
So the first bad date was a guy from Bumble, and we met at this like place. We were supposed to be getting dinner, so we met at this place in a local undisclosed location, and we like got our dinner, we were eating, but it was the most awkward place to eat dinner because it was more like a cafe than a restaurant, and he, like, neither of us knew that, but he picked the place, so I assumed he knew like where we were going. And I got there first, and I like walk in, and I'm like, we are literally the only 2 people here. Like, and I'm like waiting for him, so I'm like, everybody here just thinks I came here to sit here by myself. Like, then he comes in, and I'm like, whatever, we ordered our food anyways, and during the date, he starts like trying to speak to me in sign language. But he wasn't like deaf, and he knew that I wasn't deaf. He was just doing it because he's like, yeah, I learned sign language, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then for some reason, he assumed that because I said that's cool that I wanted him to talk to me in sign language. So he kept like signing to me, and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying. Like, I don't speak sign language. It's great that you do, but so that was awkward date number 1. Awkward date number 2, like on like the second date, also a guy from Bumble. On the second date, yeah, okay. On the second date, the guy is like, yeah, I used to be addicted to cocaine.
Oh my god.
I'm like, okay.
Casual.
Beginning?
Why? Like, in the first few minutes, yeah. I'm like, why? Why are you? Because I was like, we were like, oh yeah, like, whatever, I like to go out. What about you? And he's like, no, I don't go out because I used to be addicted to
Oh
cocaine.
my god.
And I'm like, oh. All right. And then, like, he's like, but, like, you know, I, like, know my limits, and I don't partake in anything now, and, like, this and that. And we talked for, like, a few, like, maybe a week or so after that, but he started texting me and getting, like, really weird and controlling. And I'm like, we're not even together, and you're being controlling. Yeah, so that was
That is weird.
number 2.
Interesting.
Terrible.
Any bad dates?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
think
sure you have.
Have I?
Yeah,
Have I told you
Yeah.
about any bad dates?
I mean,
It's
talk to terrible
No,
guys.
I've talked to terrible guys. I don't know, but that date was fine. I don't know.
The date was fine. The guy was just terrible.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I've been on a bad date. I don't think I've been on a great date either. I think I've just been on like average dates,
yeah.
like
Par for
Dave
the
and
course.
Buster's, and like, or actually I went to the
Oh
movie.
my gosh, I thought of a third
Yeah, I
one.
love Dave. I always go there, Dave and Buster's. But I think recently I went to the movies with this guy, and he like hadn't been to the Owings Mills area, I guess, so he was just.
Local town.
Oops. And he just, I don't know, he was just really awkward and quiet. And I felt like I was just, I hate when I have to do all the asking of questions, you know?
Yeah.
And then they don't, like,
Reciprocate.
and they'll ask, but like, we were talking about movies, and I was just asking him like simple questions, and I don't know, it was just awkward. And then movie days are awkward too, because you can't talk during the movie.
Right, like you just kind of sit
Yeah,
there.
but they suggested, I'm like, why do you want to go to the movies? We're just gonna sit there.
Better to do a movie and like plan for a movie than dinner.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
I'm still gonna talk
Yeah.
about the movie.
And then also,
Yeah.
if the
Oh,
conversation
yeah.
dies, you have the movie to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can
I
fall
think
back
it's
on
kind of
it.
insulting if they're like, you want to go to a movie? And you don't
Right.
even know the person very well. It's basically
Yeah.
like, shut your mouth up and just watch.
Yeah.
I think one of
I
my
hate
worst
that.
dates was a movie. It was this kid that I went to high school with. He was always like in high school super, super quiet, like really kept to himself, but he was like really attractive, like really nice. And we like went off to college, and he went to college with some of my friends, and we had like, you know, like started like talking, like getting to know each other a little bit. And he was home on a break, and like we had gone to a party south of where we're at now, and we had like a really good time. He like came and picked me up from my house and everything, and like it was like really nice. Like it was just like casual, like we weren't like talking about dating or anything. We were just kind of like getting to know each other. But like he paid for me to like get into this party because it was like $5 a head or whatever for like the kegs and stuff, and he like paid for me, so it was like nice. And then we like made a date to go to the movies, and I think at the time it was when Django had just come out, and we wanted to go see Django, and somehow we got the wrong movie tickets and ended up seeing Zero Dark 30, which was a horribly boring movie. And we were sitting there, and I did not really know that this was a problem, but I think at one point he pulled a water bottle out of his jacket and started drinking during the movie, like alcohol, and he drove. And I was like, this is kind of awkward. I didn't know that we were drinking at the movie theater today. Like, but all right. And then he fell asleep.
Oh my god.
And we talked a little bit longer after the movie, but I should have known at that point. But he was just a very odd individual at that point. And I was like, you know what? I'm over this. And we kind of were like, we should be friends, but have never talked since. So, yeah, that was probably like one of the worst dates I ever went on. Because like, I thought he was a nice guy, and he was just fucking weird.
I was confused that you said like drinking out a water bottle, because I was like, I drink
Yeah.
soda all the time in the movie theater. And
I was
like,
like,
without alcohol.
Yeah,
That's
the
problem.
alcohol part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like in his jacket.
Yeah. Water.
Yeah, and like he passed out during the movie, and there was like a bomb at one point, and then he woke up. And I was like, well, this was great.
Spoilers.
Oh, I just remembered a whole nother part about that cocaine date. We went to the movies and we saw Red Sparrow.
Okay.
And like I feel like that's just an awkward movie to see with some. Well, first of all, it's not really that
It's the
interesting.
Is that with Jennifer
It's basically
Lawrence?
Jennifer
Spy,
Lawrence.
right?
Yeah, but it's really not anything about spies.
oh.
She basically just like it's just about how the Russian spies are basically like the Red Sparrows are basically just like prostitutes.
Oh.
That's interesting.
I mean, kind of. It's like just all about how they use sex to like get things done. And I'm like, why did you take me to see this? Like,
Maybe he didn't know.
Mm.
I didn't know what Wolf of Wall Street was all about, and I saw it with my ex and his parents.
oh my
But
god.
they were actually pretty cool. Like he was an only
Hilarious.
kid, and
Yeah.
like they were very chill. But still, I was
Yeah.
like,
A little awkward.
lots of sex.
Lots about sex and
Lots.
drugs.
Well, I went on this date to a Mexican place for food, and it was like we had 2 hours, so they were closing, maybe even 3, and they started closing up behind us. And like, you know, when you kind of get antsy and you can feel like
Yeah.
just like a vibe, like you need to go. It was already awkward, so I was asking all the questions. So I was like, okay, well, I think they're cleaning, like maybe we can go. He's like, no, like we'll stay. I'm like, well, I'm done with my drink. So anyway, we walk out to the car, and he's like, I have a gift for you. And I'm like, this is our first date. Where is this going? And we had been texting for a while. He was super cool over text, which is not normal. Like normally people are better in person. And so we were talking about like bodybuilding and just like my degree is in exercise science, so like I love fitness or whatever. And he was like, I have an encyclopedia of bodybuilding by like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was like, oh, that's really neat. So we go to his car and he gives it to me. And I still have it to this day. So he like texted and he's like, you want to go out again? And I was like,
No.
maybe in like a few days. And I kept pushing it. And this happened last January. So I still have his book and I don't know if I should return it.
That's
I would
hilarious.
say
I would
no.
keep it.
Yeah.
It's kind of important though. So it's like a video.
Oh yeah, he
He
probably
was
needs
willing
that.
to give it as a gift.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was so disappointing when you're so great over text and then in person you're like blah.
You're like, yeah,
Right,
who
that's
are
the
you?
worst.
Total dead.
Yes.
Or
Oh my
weirdo.
gosh.
You're just hiding behind your screen.
Ugh, so annoying.
Yeah, it happens.
Sorry, good dates now, or just the bad
If you
dates?
have any good days,
If you have
if
any.
you want to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you wouldn't be on a good date, but everybody talks about bad dates. So it's like, oh, I guess everybody's
So
talking
for
about bad
good
dates.
for good dates, are we talking about like beginning or like in general?
I mean,
Yeah.
anything,
In
probably.
general, I mean, the date I talked about was we were 2 months ish into the relationship, so like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. I guess my best date was when Kelvin and I celebrated our 1 year. It was great. His parents got us a hotel downtown, and it was like walking distance.
Did you use the points? My dad did that for me.
They used the
He's
points.
like, here's all the points. You get 2 free rooms at the hotel.
Yes. But they got us a hotel, and it was like walking distance from the restaurant we were going to, and I had a gift card for like $100. It was this like super nice restaurant downtown. So we got like a nice bottle of wine. Like our food was like insanely amazing. It was so good. I was like, God, I want to just eat here every weekend, but I can't afford this.
Yeah.
But like the food was really good. Like we had really good dessert, and like it was just like really nice to like, you know, just be like with the 2 of us, not be like, let's go back to my house where my parents are, or go back to your house where your parents are. Like, so it was nice. Oh, and we got free brunch. I forgot that. There you go.
That was from our
Hold
behind
on
the
the
scenes
points.
producer. Any others or
It's horrible that we can't think of
I-
dates.
Oh, I can.
If you don't,
Oh,
you
go
don't
ahead.
have
Yeah,
to.
so for
Yeah.
me, it was probably, I feel like the first date that me and my boyfriend went on. It wasn't, I don't know, it was like we went to a magic show, which to me was just like completely different, so I thought it was cool. And I don't know, just like the way we were dressed, like I felt really nice and like
Just the nines.
yeah. And then like, you know, we had some drinks, we watched the magic show, which was really cool, and like the guy was also like really funny, so it's just like a good show. And then we went out afterwards and like we were just like, I don't know, it was just a good night. Like we were dancing. I ended up meeting up with my friends and like his friends ended up, like we were just all ended up being in the same area. So it's just like a good night. Like I liked that we had like our time by ourselves, and then like we just coincidentally ended up with our friends and had like also a fun like night out. So it was just a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a date, but the first time we went camping, which was in like Pennsylvania, like on our way to the wedding in Ohio, we like just put the fire together and everything, and then he was like, come over here and sit on my lap. He's like, do you want to make this official? And so it was the night he asked me, and then we laid out like under the stars, and like he just knows that that's where I belong. Like I love being out there, and it was very relaxing.
That's
It was
so
good, just
cute.
kind of be away from everything. I love being unplugged and just like doing your own thing with the people you're with. So that was probably one of my best dates.
So next and last question before we wrap this up is, what are some red flags or green flags, good signs, when talking to someone? Either, like, we covered everything, so it could be in the beginning when you're just talking and nothing official yet. It could be during a relationship. It could be right away. You see a guy at a bar and you're like, nope. Or
Swerve.
yeah.
I don't know, I guess like a red flag would be like, we've talked about like dating apps and stuff, like if they have like a bunch of dating apps or have like a bunch of random numbers in their phone. Yeah. Or, like my biggest thing is like I really hate it when people like lie to me.
Yeah.
So if you like lie very early on, that's like a huge red
And,
flag
like,
for me.
About stupid things.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the point? Like if you're lying about this,
Right.
Yeah.
what else are you lying about?
I didn't lie. I omitted a Christmas present. I gave her 2, and she guessed 1, and I just was like, "Yep, that's all you're getting this year." And then gave her the second one on Christmas. But like,
That's not
That's-
considered
yeah,
like
that's what I'm
different.
saying. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't be like, "This is what you're getting," and then give her something like terrible. Like,
Right.
It's not lying, but it's not telling the truth. There's like
Yeah.
that limbo.
deep psychological.
Sorry.
What do they call it? Fibbing or
Yeah.
like-
but you guys said lying early on and
Yeah.
lying about
Yes.
stupid
Yeah.
stuff too. Like, I was here when I was really there, and I was like, what was the point of lying about
Right.
that? Like,
yeah, or if like they talk to like a lot of girls
Mm-hmm.
or like talk to a lot of guys, if it's like vice versa, like, you know.
It depends.
I saw that on Reddit. They said if a girl doesn't have too many girlfriends and has a lot of guy friends, that's like there's a reason behind that. Like, there's a reason not a lot of girls are hanging out with her. But
Well, it's
that's
funny you say
also
that.
Reddit. So
Because, like, my best friend, she's actually gay now. Well, she's not gay. She fell in love with a woman, but she claims she's not gay. It's very confusing. Anyway, like, throughout middle school, she was that girl that guys were just, like, infatuated with. And so she just happened to hang around guys a lot, too. And we didn't think anything of it. And then she played soccer for the university, met this girl. She said, yeah, tequila just got the best of me at the bar. And then, who knows? But, but I was just, like, she was always around guys. And nobody ever was, like, no guy was scared that she was always around guys. It was just like a thing, and then it turned out she was actually a lesbian. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
yeah, I feel like she's the only one that can explain that. Like,
Yeah, she's an interesting character. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I already said before, like, I sometimes have commitment issues, and so this one guy I was on a date with, I knew him since middle school, and then we reconnected. And he was just talking about his future and his plans. And he's a teacher. And he was like, I'm doing really well. I think I'm going to move out soon, get a house, settle. And I was like, huh, settle. Bye. I was like, I want to travel. Like, I don't want to just get a house and stay in Maryland.
Yeah.
Like, I heard that. And I was like,
I'm just gonna
So that's a red flag for me, at least. It depends on the
Yeah.
person.
This could be a personal flag, or it could be like a PSA flag.
Like what I was saying before, like if somebody's being really controlling,
Oh,
I feel like no matter
Yeah.
at any point in the relationship, but especially like in the beginning, it's like you don't even have a reason to be controlling right now because we're just
Nothing.
starting off. Like,
Right.
but even later, like I feel like that's just never okay.
I think a green flag would be like if I brought you around my friends and my family and they're like, when he's not there, they're like, oh, how's he doing?
yeah.
Or my brother said, I miss Jimmy. I wish he was at tailgate last weekend. I was like, oh, okay.
So cute.
But then a red flag would be like if you bring him around and you feel that secondhand awkwardness where you see them conversate and you're like, oh, I don't like this. Like I want to control it, but you can't because they're the right person. So like I don't know, it's a comfortability thing.
That's true.
Conversate?
Conversate? When did I say conversate?
You said it like 30 seconds.
About I said it so official. Didn't
I
I?
say
Yeah.
that all the time, and he
Is that
always
weird?
corrects me, and it's converse.
Yeah, it's
Really?
Converse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
converse.
Conversate is all
Yes, it
word.
is converse. It's
It's converse.
Yeah.
He corrects me all the time because I say conversate.
Because it's a conversation, so you converse with someone.
Yeah.
I was like, why is he dying over there?
I say that all the time, and he literally makes fun of me and corrects me.
Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna say speak.
Stop. Conversate is a word.
Apparently Google is a word.
Well, yes, and then it is a word.
Are we allowed
It
to
is
cuss on this?
A
Yeah,
back
you are.
formation. A type of word made by removing a portion
The
of an
internet says it's
existing
real,
word.
so that's all I believe.
It's Google official.
There's a definition.
Oh,
Right.
you'll
Is there a
look.
definition for
It's
Bob?
Like, that's-
Does that not make it a word? They put it in
an
Webster's
acronym.
dictionary still.
Yo,
Is it really?
I'm pretty sure
They
they put it
changed
in.
the definition of
Oh, wow.
literally to mean figuratively. I can't trust the dictionary.
Oh my gosh. My goodness.
That's ridiculous.
Tell Merriam-Webster that. Oh goodness.
The second thing on Google. Why isn't conversate a word? And then the third thing is conversate a word. Yahoo. People are Googling Yahoo.
Good lord. That's nice.
Well, that took a fun turn.
Oh.
Any other last remarks? Any last
This was
Thanks.
interesting.
It was a lot of fun.
Alright. So on that note, if nobody has anything else
Your face.
Good job, y'all.
to
Huh?
You're just looking at me.
Thanks for welcoming us.
No big
No.
is.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Got
Anytime.
Initiated finally.
Yeah, you had
I'm
some
sorry.
secret episodes we did and never aired. The Game of Thrones episodes we did, and then we stopped.
Can't wait for the drunk dragon one. So excited.
Yeah.
Can we like binge watch them?
I'm gonna need a DD.
For
That
real.
would take a very long time.
Yeah, I don't know if I have enough time.
For what,
Not
Game
that
of
long.
Thrones?
They're only what? 8
Yeah.
episodes, 10 episodes a season.
Like an
so
hour
it's like
each.
3 days. Like
3 days. How you calculate that before?
It took me a
Probably.
while.
I don't know, 10 episodes over 7 seasons is 70 hours. That's
Yeah.
3 days.
Eat sleeper food
Little
To go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
or regular humanly things.
Yeah.
Not I.
Cool.
Just
Cool.
70 hours of Game of Thrones
Yeah.
injected into my system.
I need
That skipped it. That's why HBO is unfortunate sometimes because you can't skip over like.
The ball,
It's too long.
sure they'll do that feature soon.
Doesn't matter.
Eventually.
Next season, it doesn't matter. Next season's gonna have an hour and a half long episode each.
That's true.
How many episodes are there?
It's like 6.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
only
6?
but they're hour and a half to 2 hours
Doesn't
each.
matter. I
Yeah.
want more.
You get the same amount in a short amount of time. Like,
What are you doing?
What are you
you
doing?
can do 10
doing?
hour-long episodes or 5 2-hour
Suzie?
episodes. You still
Oh,
get 50
fast.
hours of Game of Thrones.
Sqwadcast out.
Yes, that has been.
Wait, are you still recording?
What
Yeah. That's why I was like.
What would Sqwadcast be without
I really
awkward
thought
outros?
that you turned it off like
Yep.
10 minutes ago.
How do you stop it?
It just keeps going forever.
Stop button.
I didn't know the mic.
You just
I
record
couldn't
everything
turn the
that
mic
goes on in his life all day.
Yeah.
Art has a part that apartment.
You even say yourself, I was like, you hated to listen to yourself
Yeah.
on TV.
I
So this has been Jocelyn, Lindsay, Alyssa, Suzie,
Bye.
Cammy, by Calvin, and Peggy, and me. This has been the girls' version of dating, episode 35, part 1.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Come on now.
Part 2.
Deuces.
Part 2. The next
Sweet.
chapter.
Later.
Food, get in my
Alligator.
system.
Squad
Yeah.
out.